Oh, hello there. So Halloween kind of got away from me this year. I had another project planned to come out in mid-October, but life happened and I wasn't able to do it. So we're gonna do it now because Halloween is a state of mind. And if you believe Halloween is all year round, we're making a witch costume. A couple of years ago, I made this Victorian sorceress costume. I absolutely love it. It was the very first historical project I ever took on, and it was my third video ever. And I thought it might be a fun tradition to do a historical witch every year. So this year we're gonna be doing this lady, and I have dubbed this project the Butter Witch because of the nice, lovely color of her. So I originally found this image on Pinterest, but with a little bit of digging, I was able to find the original source, which was a women's home magazine from 1911. Here's the page that it was on. Now, magazines did come in black and white and color back then, but the way that this magazine was scanned, it is all in black and white. So I don't know if the original source was in color, and I don't know if this photo is from the original source or if it was colored afterwards. Either way, I love the color. I happened to find the back of the pattern for this costume, which is super cool. So now we can see the seam lines. And I really love these old historical costumes because, like, what do you mean you're a salad? It's grand, I love it. So this page is an ad for Halloween costume patterns. And these were kind of cool because you would write in, and I guess probably mail in your money as well, and then they would send you the pattern back in the mail. So the fabric I'm going to be using today is this, which is a vintage fabric. And it does have white polka dots on it, but I have a buttload of this fabric. So we have enough for the whole thing. We're making a skirt, we're making a top, we're making a capelet, and a hat. And I have issues with making hats. I've not been able to get a witch hat the right size and like diameter for my head. They're always like a little small. So I am determined to make it the right size this time. And then one adjustment I might make to this pattern is making the skirt a bit shorter. My thinking behind this is I want to show off my shoes. I have really cute shoes that are gonna be amazing with this outfit, and they kind of match with the time also. So I want to be able to see my shoes. There you go. What can I say? I'm nothing but honest, right? For the little cats, you guys know how much I love to learn a new skill. So to do the cats, we are going to block print them. Now I have already played around with the block printing, and I did my first design, which is this cute little crest. This is the family crest I made for my Hobbit character because her last name is Thistlebrook. So it's just thistle, and then there's this like stream in the background. Yeah? Does it work? It's fine. But this is my first go, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So we're gonna be making a cat the same way. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, we gotta actually make the outfit. We are actually going to be using the same patterns that I used for my Victorian Daphne. It's one of my favorite reveals, like still. It's very silly and fun. But back to this project. I don't quite remember which patterns they were, but I'll put them in the description. But first, we need to cut out the pattern. So now that we have a plan, let's start creating. This is the Fantail skirt by Black Snail Patterns. One thing I really like about Black Snail is they only give you the top half of skirts and then you lengthen it on the fabric. So that's what I'm doing here, adding 24 inches. There are only 3 pieces to this skirt. You cut the back out twice and the front on the fold. Super easy. For the placket, I'm using some hook and eye tape. It makes life so much easier when you can get away with it. Baste down the eye side and then sew the placket to the skirt. Once it's on, I line up the hook side. I'm going to sew it down in a couple of spots, but you're not going to see the stitching because it's going to get covered by a pleat, which is the next step. The fantail skirt gets its fan look with these 2 big pleats in the back. This skirt is really simple, and I recommend it for beginners looking to get into Edwardian clothes. The front gets 2 small darts and then sewn to the back. I wanted to try the skirt on just to make sure it fit. So I'm not sure what I did. Or maybe I just made this really tight the first time. I don't remember. And I don't remember it being this tight, but maybe it was. But it is like straining to close. So I made the skirt a little small somehow, but we're just gonna press on. Another thing I ran into, so I have 2 batches of this fabric that I bought at like 2 different times, and I thought they were the same fabric, but this one is more canvasy, while this one is more of like a soft twill, and the colors are just ever so slightly off. Like just a shade. I don't know how obvious it is on camera. If this were clothes, I might be upset about it. But since this is a costume, I'm gonna roll with it. And we're just gonna pretend the shades are not different. So if you can tell that they're not the same shade, no, you can't. Okay? Also, I need to wear a petticoat with this because you can kind of see my corset through it. And it's already kind of the perfect length. So I'm just gonna leave the length as is like touching the top of my foot like that. So I think once I hem it, it'll be perfect and you can like still see my shoes. Sorry, I know I'm like so obsessed with these shoes right now. I'll get over it at some point, maybe. All right, let's put the black trim on the bottom of the skirt. I have purchased this very thick black ribbon. I think it's like 1.5 inches. Yeah, so it's 1.5 inches wide. So we'll put this around the bottom and then we'll also put it on the middle area between the like top. But anyways, it'll go places. It'll go places. I feel like there's a joke in there, but I can't find it. And I also need to make a rump, a butt pad, just a small one. I have one, but I just think it's too big. I don't know where it is and I'm not gonna dig it out. But I think it's a little bit much. Like it's more for an earlier Victorian skirt, like first bustle era versus this Edwardian skirt. So this like just needs like a small rump. God, I do love this silhouette though. It's nice, like smooth front, exaggerated hips. Va-va-voom. And then once I have my butt pad on, I'll have like butt, booty. Sorry, I'm goofing. Okay, I'm gonna attach the ribbon to the bottom and then I don't know where to go next. Wow, it's only 2:30. I managed to finish the skirt. That's incredible. I guess I'm gonna start working on the top. Yeah, that seems like the correct thing to do. Or should I work on the black print? No, I should work on the top because I haven't drawn out the design for my block print yet. I gotta do that. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing next, so let's find out together, shall we? I wanted to procrastinate on the blouse, so I decided to make the capelet next. I'm using my Enoch capelet from my last video, but I'm adding about 15 inches to the bottom. I hem the sides and bottom and call it a day. Hello, it's a new day. I was laying in bed last night thinking about the skirt, not sleeping, because it was too tight, like too tight. And I realized maybe I had done it wrong. Like maybe there's a box pleat in the back and I thought that maybe I just like pleated in too much. Turns out I didn't. I don't know why it's so small. I don't think the other one was. But anyways, I went back and fixed it, which I'm really proud of myself for. So just a little like pat on the back there. How I fixed it was I undid the waistband until the pleat, like through the pleat, lessened the pleat a little bit so that I added about almost 1 inch. So about 1/2 inch on either side, which meant that I did need to add more to the waistband. So you can see where I've added to the waistband here and on this side. So now I can fasten the skirt without my corset on. Like it was tight, but like I can put it on, where before I could not do that. So I think it's okay now. Skirt done. Again, we have most of a capelet. And we need to put the collar on this. The collar is quite dramatic and grand. And I know there is a tailoring technique that I could use to give the collar that structure, that like shape to it, but I'm no tailor. And I'm a little too lazy for that. So we're not gonna do that. I think we're just gonna use some hot glue and wire. Just like, you know, between the two layers, so, you know, just a little bit. Shove it in there. I think that'll work. Maybe like 5 bits of wire around the whole thing should work. I guess let's try it. First thing we need to do is take the measurement for the neck opening and then figure out how tall I want to make the collar. Then I make a trapezoid shape on some tracing paper, cut it out of the fabric twice, and once out of some interfacing. I'm using a really thick sew-in type. Mark out my seam allowance and start cutting the wire and hot gluing it in place. Pin all 3 sides together and carefully sew around it, leaving the bottom open. Turn it right sides out, pin and sew it to the cape. And last thing we need to do is shape the collar. Just zhuzhing it around a bit. I don't think this was the correct way to make this collar, but with some like zhuzhing, a lot of zhuzhing, I've gotten what I think is pretty good. The back, see, I had issues with the back like being all crinkly and weird, and I don't know how it looks right now, but is this okay? Is that okay? I don't know. It's fine, I guess. I still need the frog closure for the front, which I don't have, so I gotta get one. But yeah, cape was done, I guess. Next, I'm procrastinating on the bodice because it's complicated. Not my reason for procrastinating, the blouse itself is complicated. Don't know what to do with this. Where do I put this? There. I've made this blouse before, I've mentioned. So there is a lining layer that closes the thing. And then there's this flap that goes under. I don't know how I closed it because there's no closure there. I guess I just like, I guess I pinned it. Because then this sat on top of it like that. And this was altered. I altered the front of this to match the reference image. This is hard, I'm supposed to have on a corset. It's also hot. But anyways, with this like closure bit that's underneath everything, it just makes it really complicated. And it's supposed to have a collar closure, but I don't need the collar because I have the cape that's going over it. So I would just like it to be just like a high neck. And I don't know how to fix anything. And I'm not adding any boning to it. I don't know if I will come to regret this, but I think between the instructions and this garment that I've already made, we're clever. We can figure this out, right? Yeah, we can figure this out. Let's go. I'm forgoing the lining in the back and only using the lining pieces as the outer fabric. This is because I like the shape more, because the actual outer fabric, there's like gathered and poofiness to it that I don't like. After it's all cut out, I sew some more hook and eye tape to the front lining. This part isn't visible, so it can be a little messy. Next, the front lining, and back all get sewn together at the sides and shoulder seams. The front bit part, or plastron, gets sewn to its lining around the neck and then flipped to hide the raw edge. For the decorative trimming on the plastron, I'm using some velvet ribbon to make these really simplified bow type shapes. Off camera, I'm using a little bit of steam from the iron to kind of loosen up the ribbon and help shape it a little bit. Now we need to attach the plastron to the bodice, but I need to try it on first. Okay, I needed to try it on to place the placket where it's supposed to be and, you know, to make sure it fit. It was pretty cute. I do need to make just a couple adjustments. I need to trim down the orange lining layer around the neck. I still need to sew the placket to this side of the front. And I'm just gonna go over the same stitch line that I used to fold in the raw edge. And then I might just fold under the bottom and do the same thing that I did to the top and just like fold it under once and sew it down. I think that's fine. I do need to tack down the ribbons to the placket because they're just like really wobbly. And I would just like it if they would stay in place a little bit better. And then I might just attach this side with just some straight pins. I think that's what I did with the other one because there's nothing on, there's no closures. So I think it's just a few straight pins. So I guess I'm gonna do that again because that's easy and historically accurate, I think. Not that I was going for historical accuracy. Please don't yell at me about historical accuracy. Accuracy. Oh, now I can't say that word. This is very cute and I'm feeling very good about it. We still need to make a small rump butt pad, which will take me no time. We need to make a hat, and then we also need to carve our wood block, which is not wood. It's like this pink rubber thing that kind of reminds me of those erasers from elementary school. But we need to carve that and then actually do the printing, which I feel like I should be nervous about. I'll get nervous when we get there. Oh, sleeves. Should put some sleeves on this so we're not just like raw edging it. Like she just ripped her sleeves off in feminist rage. Okay. I love the color of this. I'm gonna finish up the bodice and then we are going to either make a hat or the wood block. And I don't know which one yet, so let's find out. It's neither of those things. Let's finish the sleeves. I recently got a ton of white trim and lace for next to no money at all at an estate sale. So I'm going through these to find something for the bottom of the sleeve. Once I find the one I like, I pen and sew it down. I kind of didn't like the look of it with it all really long. It just didn't seem right. So I'm playing around with tucking it in a little bit at the front and I like this a lot more. And I didn't want to fuss with unpicking anything, so I just pinned it down and sewed on top of the first row of stitching. Okay, the bodice. She's done. The color difference seems a little bit more noticeable when they're like right next to each other, but again, you see nothing. All the edges, like around the neck, I've just folded over once and sewn it down. It's fine. It's a costume. There's raw edges on the inside. Again, it's fine. It's a costume. I know if you're newer to sewing and you like watch a lot of sewing videos, you're gonna have a lot of people being like, you gotta finish your edges. You don't have to, especially if it's something that you're rarely going to wear. It's fine. It can be messy, really. Like finishing those edges is what is keeping you from like making a project. Just don't do it. It's fine. There's no like sewing police that are gonna come and get you. Just felt like I should say that because I definitely felt like that when I first started. Because I was like, oh yeah, no, they all say you have to. They say you have to do it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm make everything look really nice. You don't have, you have my permission. You don't have to. The bottom, folded under once and sewn down. She done. She really cute. Skirt done, cape done, top done. We have a few other things to make. We still need to make the hat. We still need to do the block print. I didn't have a rubber mat thingy that was large enough, so I'm waiting for it to come in. It should be in the next couple of hours. And then she's also wearing a domino mask, which I wanted to make. I think I have an idea for that. So that might be the next thing we make. I don't know why I'm avoiding this hat so much. It's a really short brimmed hat too. Why am I avoiding the hat? Maybe I should just do it. I mean, we got the big pieces out of the way. We could just call it here. We're not going to. Okay, the thing about the hat is that I can't make the hat until I make my stamp because it would be better to stamp the hat while it is flat versus rounded. So we will move on to the domino mask. Let's go. This is kind of silly, but I just drew the mask on some paper on my face. I mean, it worked. So after refining the pattern a little bit, I cut it out of some 4-ounce leather, then soak it in some water, and then use a detached head to shape it. My nose is a bit bigger than the detached head, so I'm using some pins to keep the bridge of the nose raised. And now we just gotta let it dry. I should have beveled the edges before I got it wet and shaped it. Since I didn't, I'm using some 220 grit sandpaper to round out the edges so that they're not so sharp. Then I use a bit of goop and this varnishing tool to make the edges really nice and smooth. I also used some sandpaper to scuff up the front because I'm gonna use some acrylic paint on it. I don't know if this part is necessary, but it seemed like a good idea. I'm using this black 3.0 from Culture Hustle, which claims to be the blackest black in the world. Well, at least it was when I bought it. There's now a black 4.0, which I assume is blacker, but I don't know how much more black the paint can get at this point. This stuff just absorbs the light. It's so dark and matte. It also dries within a matter of seconds, and I am not exaggerating. Looks super cool though. Now let's make a hat. We need to use some circle math to figure out how wide we need it to be, and then use my tape measure to make the circle. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Then we need to cut out the hole for my head to go in, and that's more circle math, but this time I fold up the fabric to make it a little bit easier to cut. And then I need to cut it out again out of some stiff interfacing. Pin everything together, but we aren't turning everything, so we are sewing them together the way that they're supposed to be in the end, if that makes sense. Then we take a bit of bias tape and pin it around and sew it to the top of the brim. Now I'm taking some armature wire and I'm going to hand stitch it to the brim. I really should invest in some millinery wire because this armature stuff is just too soft. But it's what I have on hand right now, so it'll do. After that's all tacked down, I fold the bias tape over, hand stitch that to the underside of the brim. This takes a minute, but I really don't mind a little bit of hand sewing sometimes. On to a bit I've been really excited for. After drawing out my cat, I use an inkjet printer to print onto some plastic binder dividers and use that to transfer my cat pattern to the rubber thingy. This is a really nifty trick, but it only works with inkjet printers. I really should give it some time to dry, but I'm way too impatient for that, so I just start carving away. Mediums like this, where you take away negative space, really breaks my brain a little bit. I could never sculpt something from a block of wood or marble. It's absolutely mystifying to me, and it is so cool to see people do it. Anyways, after it's all carved out, I use an X-Acto blade to cut away the excess. Here's where we are with the stamp. I made it. It's cute. But I just can't get it to transfer to the fabric in a nice enough way. This is the best one I've gotten. And I don't like it. I just don't like it. I feel like it makes the vibe of the dress different. But that's okay. What I'm gonna do instead is turn my drawing into a vector and use my silhouette machine and cut it out. But now I need to go make a run to Michael's and go get some matte black vinyl. Say black again. That's a shame it didn't work out, but that's okay. That's what happens in projects sometimes. You got an idea for something and then it just doesn't look as cool in real life. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna wash my hands because I am terrified of getting black paint on my dress. I should have taken my dress off. I guess this is gonna have to wait until tomorrow because I'm having dinner with friends soon and I don't think I have enough time to finish everything. I did make a very nice fitting hat, which when I put it on like this, looks like a silly sun hat. Domino Mask is still drying, so yeah, we're just gonna have to wait until tomorrow to finish everything. Now, excuse me, I'm gonna go have some burgers and margaritas. See you tomorrow. Last steps, I just need to cut out some cats. I ended up cutting out around 20 total, I think. I accidentally got the wrong vinyl. I got the kind that just sticks on instead of irons on, but that's okay. It will make them easier to remove in the future if I ever just want to wear this outfit, you know, without cats on it. So I'm just using this soft scraper thingy to make sure that they are nice and secured onto the fabric. And that's it. If you have been enjoying this video, please feel free to subscribe, comment, and like. It really helps me out a bunch. Let me know how this one came out, and let me know what year or era that you would like to see me do for next year's historical witch. That's enough from me. Let's head to the reveal. Hi, I'm hot. Wow, this came out really good. I'm really happy with it. There's only like a couple minor things, and that's the orange bit kept poking out some during when I was trying to take some photos. So I just need to like trim that more. And then I forgot to put interfacing in the body of the hat, so it's a little floppy. And I just forgotten until after I put the hat together, and I was like, well, not redoing that. Just leave it. Also, my hair looks very silly when I take off the hat. It's like I'm trying to do one of those like 1830s hairdos that are like really goofy. And then if you're wondering how I put my mask on, because I did not think about that before I did my hair, it's tape. I have on some double-sided tape. I guess I also need to trim the orange lining around the neck too, because it pokes out. It wasn't noticeable before with the cape on, but now it is. This black paint is serious stuff. It's very cool. But hey, that's our Halloween costume, even though it's not Halloween anymore. I made the rump the way you're supposed to, but I just feel like it could be bigger. I like a big booty. Big booty. But that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this one. I have another historical project for next video, but we're going way, way back, further back than I have ever gone before. So if you're into historical nonsense, come back in 2 weeks. Bye. Oh no! I didn't get out my audio. I gotta do that all over again. Nerd. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bear, bear. Bear,